NBA superstar Kevin Durant made a bold pitch to recruit Micah Parsons to the Washington Commanders, and the Dallas Cowboys star didn't exactly shut it down, sparking backlash from fans. Durant, a noted Washington fan, and Parsons were both at Fanatics Fest. Interviewer Kay Adams asked if Durant wanted to use an opportunity on the mic to recruit Parsons. "I think Micah will be a Commander at some point in his career," Durant said. "I'm going to say 2 years from now." Instead of shutting it down, Parsons gave a shout-out to his former defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, who is now the head coach of the Commanders. "I only rock with Dan Quinn," Parsons said. Parsons' response did not sit well with some Cowboys fans. "Micah is everything wrong about this generation. Terrible teammate not squashing this immediately as the face of a franchise," one fan said. "Sell out," another added. "Tell your agent to orchestrate a trade to the Commanders so you can rock out with DQ. See how much money you make in endorsements with the Commanders." Comments come during Micah Parsons' contract negotiations with Cowboys. Parsons is heading into the final year of his rookie deal and is currently in contract negotiations with the Cowboys. He is a near-perennial contender for Defensive Player of the Year and has 52.5 sacks over 4 seasons. The extension is expected to make Parsons the highest-paid defender in the league, but it has dragged out. "It's going to cost them more," Parsons said of the negotiations. Some saw the comments from Parsons as a potential negotiation tactic. "Message sent to Jerry, you need to sign Micah to his contract extension," one fan said. Another added, "Leave now. Trade him for as much as you can." Homie says he doesn't need to be the highest paid, and now says it's just costing them more. Micah Parsons wants contract done by training camp. The Cowboys are trying to turn things around after a 7-10 campaign. The team parted ways with head coach Mike McCarthy and hired Brian Schottenheimer this offseason. Parsons has built a strong relationship with Schottenheimer and wants to show up for his new coach. He participated in parts of minicamp, but he made it clear he wants things buttoned up with his contract before training camp. "I'm pretty hopeful," Parsons said. "I'm still hanging tight. I understand it's up to Jerry Jones, and he gives the green light on everything, so hopefully something's done by next month." Recent history suggests the extension might take longer than Parsons would like. Last year, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb skipped all of training camp while holding out for a new deal. Quarterback Dak Prescott didn't hold out, but his contract wasn't finalized until just before the season. Parsons put the onus on Jones to get the deal done. "He gives the green light, he's the owner, he's pretty much what it takes to get anything done anywhere around here, so it's up to him," Parsons said. "But like I said, I'm going to still keep playing football. I'm going to keep showing up and preparing like any other year." The Cowboys will arrive for training camp in Oxnard, California on July 20th. The 2025 offseason is a crucial one for many players around the league, and every NFL team has players battling with more than just guys behind them on the depth chart. Some players are trying to fend off the dreaded bust label this offseason, and the Dallas Cowboys are no exception. The Cowboys are hopeful for a bounce-back year in 2025 after injuries wrecked their chances to compete in the NFC East in 2024. The Cowboys were the perfect example of Squidward looking out of his window longingly at SpongeBob and Patrick having a great time outside. The Commanders and Eagles had all the fun last season, but the Cowboys have the talent to get back in the mix this season. One player who is at an individual crossroads this offseason is third-year tight end Luke Schoonmaker, who could find himself on the roster bubble at training camp if he doesn't step up quickly. Luke Schoonmaker facing bust label for Cowboys in 2025 offseason. The former second-round pick out of Michigan has just 35 receptions in his first 2 NFL seasons for 306 yards and 3 touchdowns. HI's productivity as a receiver has been extremely disappointing given his draft status, and part of the reason he's facing the bust label is because former UDFA tight end Brevin Spanford is looking like he might be a factor in the rotation going forward. Perhaps even more so than Schoonmaker, who is already firmly behind Jake Ferguson at the tight end position. Schoonmaker played 411 total snaps offensively last season, 35% of the total snaps for the Dallas offense. Schoonmaker was the 58th overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft and was taken ahead of a guy like Tucker Kraft, who has done extremely well early in his career, especially in the passing game, for the Green Bay Packers. Dallas also infamously passed on Sam Laporta in that same draft class to take Motzie Smith, a decision that might haunt the front office for years to come if Smith doesn't pick things up. Schoonmaker has a chase this offseason to change the narrative, obviously. He could emerge as a much more dynamic option in the passing game than even Ferguson, who had a strong year in 2023 followed by an okay year in 2024. With Ferguson entering a contract year in 2024, the opportunity is perfect for Schoonmaker to swoop in and give the Cowboys every reason to have him atop the depth chart. If not, he could be headed for the dreaded bust status and might even find himself on the trade block at some point in the next year. The Dallas Cowboys have made waves with their acquisition of George Pickens, and they could make Micah Parsons happy before the season starts. Also, here is one perfect Cowboys move to fill out their roster before the 2025 training camp. Dallas will bring its rookies and veterans in on the same day. Their training camp will begin July 21st in Oxnard, California. The Cowboys could use a little more help at the defensive tackle and offensive tackle positions. But the foremost need is at defensive tackle. With Motzie Smith and Osa Odigizua, they have solid starters. But they could use depth. He's 32 years old, so he's no spring chicken. And he only appeared in 7 games for the Bills in 2024. But the Cowboys and Brian Schottenheimer are familiar with him, as he also played 2 games with Dallas last season. Phillips can still help with run defense, according to CBSSports.com. Phillips was healthy last season and only played in 9 games and was on the field for only 143 total snaps between his time with the Cowboys and Bills, Brian Duardo and Jared Dubin wrote. The massive 330-pound interior lineman is still a good run defender when healthy, though, and he can still be very useful for a defense in a part-time, early down role. It's the kind of thing that might fit well for the Cowboys. They aren't looking for a starter, but they could use a run stuffer on a part-time basis. The consensus for the Cowboys seems to be that they need to do something at the position, according to DallasCowboys.com. The question was posed as, have the Cowboys done enough at the one-tech defensive tackle position? Personally, I don't think so, Tommy Yarish wrote. Motzie Smith still has a glaring question mark in front of him, and the depth behind him isn't enough to convince me that the Cowboys are set at that position to stop the run at a consistent rate. There's so much unknown in the room with younger guys who either don't have any playing time or don't have enough quality reps. So it would be a spot that wouldn't shock me at all if the Cowboys stick to their 24/7, 365-player acquisition model to find a veteran body to add depth. Or maybe a starting quality player. Cowboys responding to HC Brian Schottenheimer. One good thing about the Cowboys attracting a player for the position is the way the team has responded to new head coach Brian Schottenheimer, according to DallasCowboys.com. Defensive tackle Solomon Thomas expressed his excitement. Article continues below. It's been awesome. It's been really cool just being part of the team. Being home for me has been awesome, Thomas said. Coach Schotty has been doing an amazing job just getting the energy right and culture right here. Guys are excited every day. There's enthusiasm every day. It's feeling like a family. I've only been here like a few weeks, but being around the team, everyone feels close. It's a very college-like atmosphere. And the position group is close, too, Thomas said. Just having conversations in the D-line room, we're all really close already, just talking to each other, getting a vibe for each other, Thomas said. It's been really cool getting to know everyone. No one is too big for the team, Thomas said. We're just starting right now, but I feel like we can build something that's going to be legendary here. Osa Odigizua adds to defensive tackle mix. And whoever comes in would get to work with Odigizua, a rising star. He said he loves being in Dallas, according to DallasCowboys.com. It's awesome. You know what I mean? Said the former UCLA star. I love Dallas, love playing for this organization, love being a Cowboy, so the fact that I get to do it for another 4 years and I get a very, very large pay increase to do it. It's not that I wasn't already happy doing the work, but I'm just going to have an even bigger smile on my face when I come to the building every day. The Cowboys have a lot of optimism with Schottenheimer calling the shots. But the defense will have to be better than it was in 2024. There were several games where the Cowboys couldn't get enough stops to stay within shouting distance of a victory. The run defense struggled, and the overall defense displayed inconsistency throughout the year. That's another reason why the team needs to add depth at defensive tackle. Cowboys should sign DT Jordan Phillips.